All right, welcome to the mini lesson for matter, for chemistry. We're going to start chemistry pretty heavily today and this week. Some things I want to go over just as a kind of getting you up to speed. We're going to start studying specific content starting today. You are required to take notes, okay? I'm going to be doing a notebook check about every other week, and so you're going to need something to either physically show me, or you're going to have to have a digital copy of it, and you can submit it to the assignment. Basically, it's like this. During a live lesson, if it's on the screen, you need to write it. Okay? Now, I will specifically say there's a lot of things that we're going to be going through today. All the stuff are things that you need to write. Okay? You can either do it on paper in your notebook if you have one, or you can create a notes folder in Google Drive and type them in Google Drive. Okay, so I'm going to give you the option of doing it paper or doing it digital, but you need to have all of these notes. Okay, when I give tests, when I give quizzes, when I give CFAs, you will have the ability to use your notes. So it's important to have them so that you have them when you need them. Okay, I will guarantee you that I'm going to move quickly in these lessons. That's why it's recorded, so you can go back and watch it again and rewatch it so that you can get everything you need for today's lesson. Okay, so just as another reminder, if I'm moving too fast in the live lesson, go back and watch the recorded lesson to get everything. All right, so let's move into our chemistry unit. So 6P21, that's our objective that we're going to cover. That's our objective we're going to cover. We're going to be talking about matter. So this entire week, we're going to be focused on what matter is and what makes up matter and what are the properties of matter, because that's going to be our focus for this week. These are your 6 vocabulary words for today. Now, every day you're going to have some vocabulary. Some of it's going to be review from previous days. Some of it is going to be new. So for today, these are your 6 new vocabulary. So you want to take a moment to get these written down. If you're watching live, you can go back and watch the video during independent time and get yourself caught up on your notes. So I'm going to just quickly go through these real quick. We're going to talk about each of them as we go through. Matter, anything that has atoms and molecules, whether it's living or non-living, and takes up space. So those are the 2 properties of everything that's matter. It has mass, okay, it's made up of atoms, and it takes up space. It has volume. Well, what is an atom? Well, atom is the smallest part of something that has the same chemical properties as the bigger part. Okay, that may not make sense right now. We're going to get into that in a minute. The nucleus, that's the center part of an atom. Proton, that's one of the 2 subatomic particles in the nucleus and has a positive charge. Neutron, it's a subatomic particle in the nucleus that has no charge. An electron, subatomic particle in the outer shell of the atom and has a negative charge. So I'll get more into that in a minute. I just wanted to let you know these are your vocabulary for today. So what are atoms? Well, you might have seen a diagram like the one here on the screen. Atoms are basically the building blocks that make up everything. Okay, whether it's alive, animals, people, plants, trees, whether it's not alive, okay, never having been alive, non-living, rocks, air, food, okay, everything is made up of atoms. Atoms are too small to be seen. You can't even with a classroom microscope, you can't see them, okay, and atoms make up all the elements. Okay, we'll talk about elements in a minute. So atoms are basically the building blocks. That's the building blocks of everything. Okay, so if you think of Legos, okay, the Legos are the atoms. Okay, and then we take those building blocks, those Legos, and then we build cars and we build little people out of them. So atoms are your Legos, building block. They're the building blocks of everything on Earth. Now, atoms are made up of 3 things. Now, we're not going to go into a whole lot of detail here. I'm just trying to make you aware of this, because when you get to 8th grade, you'll have to already know this. So this is not something we're going to spend a lot of time on, but you do need to know the basics of atoms, okay? So if this is the picture of an atom, and there's a lot of different types of pictures of atoms, So you'll see some that look like this. You'll see some that have just kind of a cloud around the nucleus. That's the thing in the middle there with the red and the black dots. You have a cloud around the nucleus instead of the lines. It can be a couple of different types of pictures, and you'll see those over this week. Inside of the picture itself, this picture itself, the black dots in the middle, those are the protons. Okay, they have a positive charge. Okay, they make up the nucleus. They are one part of the nucleus. So the nucleus are the black and the red dots together. The black dots are the protons. The red dots, the red particles, are the neutrons. And neutrons are neutral. They have no charge. Neutron starts with an N. No charge starts with an N. Okay, so protons are positive. Neutrons are neutral. And then the blue particles, the blue dots around the outside in the outer shells, those are called outer shells. In the outer shells, those are electrons, and they have a negative charge. So if you already don't know proton, neutron, electron, you need to learn that, and you need to learn what kind of charge it has, positive, negative, or no charge. So we talked about atoms. We talked about the parts of an atom. Well, and we said atoms are building blocks. Okay. Well, sometimes atoms are elements. No, all the time atoms are elements. Okay? Elements are very specific. Okay? They only have one type of atom. Okay? It can be a single atom, like here, you got a single atom of carbon. Or they can have more than one atom, but they're all the same. So here you've got 3 carbon atoms connected together. Here you've got 5 carbon atoms connected together. All 3 of these are elements of carbon. What makes it an element is that there's only one kind. There's no oxygen here. There's no nitrogen here. There's no O's. There's no N's. There's no B's. There's no H's. Right? It's just C's. So just one kind. Now there are over 100 different elements. Okay. So if we were talking about an element of hydrogen, there would just be H's. If we're talking about an element of oxygen, there would just be O's. Okay, so elements are just one type of atom. Okay, well, how do we understand elements? Well, that's what the periodic table of elements is for. Okay, so each of these boxes that you see on the screen is a specific type of atom, where before on the previous slide we had the different C's. Okay, those are C's, those are carbon atoms. You could have circles with ZRs in it. You could have circles with H's in it. You could have a circle with a P in it for phosphorus. But as long as they are by themselves, okay, a group of P's, a group of H's, a group of FR's, a group of OS's, as long as they are by themselves, they are elements. Now, this periodic table, we're not going to spend a lot of time here. I just want to make you aware of the periodic table. The periodic table organizes the elements a couple of different ways. It organizes it by chemical properties. Okay? Now, if you're saying, well, how do we know? Well, and this is what you'll learn in 8th grade. I'm just giving you a head start, familiar with it. So it can be organized by chemical properties. It can be organized by the type of element. Okay, when I say type, I mean you see the color coding. All of the blue ones are the same type. All of the pink ones are the same type. All of the green ones are the same type. So they could be grouped by type. They could be grouped by chemical property, which is the column that they're in, the up and down. Okay, so you got the number 13 column. It's got a green B at the top and then 4 oranges. All of those 5 have the same chemical properties. All of the green ones are the same type. And then the rows, you got the rows. Okay, so the bottom row, FR, RA, RF, DB, SG, that row, they all have the same number of electrons. Okay, so it's important to understand. Now, you don't have to remember any of this, okay? You do not have to remember any of this. Okay, you do not have to remember any of this. I'm just giving you an understanding of where the elements can be found and what we do with them. Okay, now if you want to go check out more about the periodic table, you'll go to this website, www.ptable.org. That looks like this. That looks like this. So it's an interactive periodic table. So if you want to learn more about boron, you can hover over boron, and it will give you over here on the left side, it'll tell you all of the information about boron. It'll tell you its boiling point, its melting point, its weight. But if you click on it, it's not coming up. Why is it not coming up? Okay, so you see what I did? You'll select the one you want, and then over here on the left side, you see how the boron is linked. You'll click on that link, and it will open boron in Wikipedia, and you can actually read about that specific element. Okay, so ptable is a great tool. I would bookmark it so you have access to it. So ptable.org. All right, that's the mini lesson for chemistry for today. We'll have a new mini lesson tomorrow. If you need to go back and rewatch this, please do so. Otherwise, have a great day.